Hi, I'm Farmer George. With me is my old friend, Jeanette Barringer, who's the Research and Technical Programs Manager at the Livestock Conservancy. Jeanette, why are we here? What are we doing?
We're going to build ourselves a better chicken.
So how old are these birds?
3 or 4 months old. And so they're at a perfect age to start making decisions on which ones you're going to put in the stew pot and which ones you're going to keep as breeders. And the first thing that you notice about these two animals, even though they're the same age, this one is quite larger than this one. And
so that's
first I'm going to teach you how to hold the chicken.
Yeah, would you please teach me how to hold the chicken?
You're going to put your palm up and put your middle finger in between his two legs and then clamp down. So his breast is resting in the palm of your hand, and that way they're calm. And if they start to panic, stick them under your armpit, and that calms them down.
Do you believe that?
Well, it makes them comfortable, and that way you can move them around, and they start flapping, you just under the arm. And
you learn like something every day.
First thing you're looking at, when he stopped biting my finger, you look at their head. Everything starts with the head. You want a really nice broad head on a chicken.
So that one's small and bites. That's going to the stew pot.
Probably, but we're still going to...
All right.
The nice thing about having a broad head is typically that means that bird's going to be broad all the way across. A broad chicken has a lot of things going for it, you know, more meat and more capacity to be productive. So we start looking at, you know, broad head. The next thing we're going to do is start to take a look at their heart girth. And the heart girth, right where the wing meets the body, and you're going to take your fingers and go straight down.
Okay.
And so you're basically feeling the side of the ribs here. When you're doing this analysis of a chicken, you want the same breed and the same age and the same sex. So compare him with him, and you could see, again,
this one's bigger.
He's much broader. Right. Yeah. So then the next thing you want to do, we're following their bodies down. You want to put your hand on their back, and you want a nice flat back on a chicken, because anatomically that's correct, but also a flat back chicken's going to be a much better table bird. They're going to look like you would expect. Feel the two of them and tell me what you feel.
All right, so this guy's got curvature.
He does.
He's less thick here. He's got a smaller head, and he bites.
And he bites.
Okay, got it.
As we keep going down the body, now we're going to look at the pelvis. You want a nice broad pelvis. You want these birds to be nice and broad all the way down their bodies. And this guy tapers at his pelvis. What's interesting about having a nice broad heart girth and broad pelvis is you've got more space up here for lungs and heart. So this animal has a better capacity for their respiratory and circulatory system. That's going to make them more productive. Overall, this bird has better potential as being a good productive bird than this one, who has a small heart girth, has a small pelvis, has an attitude, and has a curvy back. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the meat qualities. So you're going to flip your chicken upside down like this. Nope, head down.
Uh-oh. I don't think he's going to like this. What am I doing wrong here?
He'll be fine. There you go. There you go. So we're going to feel the breastbone. And what you want is a nice straight breastbone. We're looking for nice meat on the breastbone. You want the meat to go all the way to the tip of the breastbone.
And how does this feel in here, Jeanette?
Well, feel it sideways like this. You can feel that the meat on his breastbone goes almost all the way to the tip. This guy, he's kind of bony on the breastbone, so his meat qualities aren't quite there yet. Another thing we're going to look at is body depth. So we're looking sideways with the bird to see how deep the body is. Again, that's building capacity for internal organs. You know, a broader, you know, a deeper bird is going to have more capacity, plus, you know, better meat qualities. And, you know, this guy is clearly much deeper than this one.
Yep.
Hey, you're going to go in the stew pot sooner than later, buddy. Now the next thing we're going to look at is egg laying capacity. And yes, these are boys, they're not laying eggs, but they can pass on egg laying qualities to their daughters. On their backside, You're going to feel the very end of the breastbone right here.
Right.
And the distance we're looking at is from the end of the breastbone to the pelvic arch. So the pelvic arch is where the butthole is, the cloaca. The measurement you're going to use is actually just your fingers. You don't need calipers or a measuring stick or anything. You want to...
Is it a 3-finger bird or a 4-finger bird?
Exactly. This guy is maybe a 2.5-finger bird. This one is more like a 3-finger between those two points. The second thing you're looking at is this pelvic arch, which is right around the cloaca. It's kind of hard to see. It's a bone that when you feel it, you can feel it's like this.
Yep.
What you want is a bone that's nice and straight and not bent in like this. It can cause the bird to have a hard time laying an egg. It's pinched.
Right.
So you want nice straight bones and you want nice width between the bones. So this guy, his bones are a little bit curved in, which isn't ideal, but this guy is really curved in. You don't want an egg-bound chicken that's that's potentially deadly for a hen, so not a good thing to pass on to his
But now,
daughters.
is this bird good enough to breed? Or would you still be looking for even a better bird than this for this flock?
That depends on how he compares to the others. So now he is going to be the standard from which you're going to judge the other birds. And so you're comparing all the birds, again, same sex, same age, and whichever ones come on top. I like to save 2, sometimes 3 roosters because you never know if a hawk gets something, or you want to keep 2 or 3 just if they're peaceful birds.
So Jeanette, does beauty enter into the equation as far as picking chickens?
Absolutely. The great thing about getting standard bred chickens is there is a very good guide that shows you how these chickens should look. That's called the Standard of Perfection. It's a book that's put out by the American Poultry Association, and it tells in excruciating detail what these birds should look like, from skin color to feather color to combs to eye color. You name it, they describe it in there, and that's the gold standard for which these animals are judged.
How important is it for the backyard chicken grower? Let's say you get a flock of 25 baby birds and they're delivered to you. How important is it for them to select the proper chickens to keep and call the ones that are no good?
I think it's just as important as if somebody is doing hundreds of birds. You want to keep the best for your breeding stock, and you always want to be assessing the birds. Like I have a flock at my house that I've maintained for 10 years, and I tell my daughter, don't fall in love, because you never know if the guys that made the cut last year are going to make the cut this year. We're always assessing and improving. And the nice thing is, after a number of years, when you go outside and look at your flock, you've got consistency, you've got beauty, you've got productivity, and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. You're not doing the breed any service by keeping birds that are not meeting breed standard and are not productive. Typically, your top 10, maybe 20% are meant to be breeders, and then the rest of the birds are meant to be eaten. They're chickens. You eat chickens.
Hard for me to eat this one, Jeanette.
Yeah. So putting chickens down.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now that I've learned to pick chickens up, middle finger between, either side, make them feel secure. How do I put them down?
You just put them down carefully. You don't drop them.
Right. Wow, pretty good. And to sum it all up, here are the 5 steps to breed a better chicken. Number 1, choose 2 chickens that are of the same age. Number 2, measure the bird's broadness from head to tail. Number 3, compare egg-laying capacity. Number 4, assess the bird's aesthetic features and physical beauty. And finally, number 5, keep the top 10 to 20% for breeding and into the stew pot with the rest.